I paid off their car loan after they had their first child. When I missed one call during a doctor visit, my daughter-in-law blocked me. "You don't respect our time," she texted. My son just said, "It's her boundaries." I never called again. But the day they showed up at my door, begging me to forgive them, what I said left them speechless and... Hi. I'm Patty. I'm 63, live in Springfield, Missouri, and I've been a single mom since my son James was 9. His father left us, and I raised James alone. I worked 2 jobs, skipped vacations, skipped sleep, and poured everything I had into making sure he had a good life. I was proud of the man he became. Hardworking. Respectful. Or at least, I thought. Then he met Haley. That's when things slowly changed. Haley was sweet when they were dating. She called me Mrs. Palmer, brought me cookies on Christmas, texted me photos from their vacations. At first, I was glad she was in his life. But once they got engaged, I noticed she started setting strange boundaries. I remember one dinner, she told me not to hover over James when I asked him if he wanted more mashed potatoes. Another time, she said I needed to give James space when I called to check in on him after a minor car accident. Then they got married, and I kept trying to be part of their life. But Haley always kept me at arm's length. I never got to feel like family. I was treated like someone who needed permission to exist around them. Then they had their baby girl, Olivia. I thought maybe that would bring us closer. Instead, Haley got worse. She sent out a long email about rules for seeing the baby. No kissing. No holding her without a blanket. No perfume. No photos posted. No visitors longer than 30 minutes. Every sentence ended with "This is non-negotiable." I followed every rule. Every single one. I even bought new, unscented soap for my house. But it didn't matter. No matter how careful I was, I always felt like I was one wrong word away from being cut off. Then came the money situation. James called one night. Haley was crying in the background. Their car was about to be repossessed. He said he wasn't asking for anything, just wanted to vent. I didn't even wait for him to ask. The next morning, I drove to the credit union and paid off the remaining balance. $8,712.36. When I called James to tell him it was taken care of, he broke down crying. He said, "I don't know how to thank you." Haley never said anything. Not even a text. I didn't care. I told myself that's what parents do. You give, and you don't expect anything back. But then came the day that changed everything. It was about 6 months later. I had a doctor's appointment. I've been dealing with high blood pressure and dizziness. They were running tests. I had an foreign and my phone was on silent in my purse. When I got out of the clinic, I saw a missed call from Haley. That's it. Just one missed call. Not long after, I got a message from her. "We're done. You don't respect our time. We have a child to protect. Don't contact us again." Then silence. I tried to call back. No answer. I opened Facebook. Blocked. I tried texting James. The messages wouldn't go through. So I texted him from my old flip phone. "What's going on?" "I was at the doctor's." He replied a few minutes later, "It's her boundaries, Mom. Respect them." I sat in my car, in the clinic parking lot, for almost an hour, just staring at that message. The car was running, but I didn't even notice. I felt like someone had taken a knife and twisted it in my chest. I didn't text again. I didn't call. The next few months were hard. I stopped checking Facebook because I didn't want to see photos of Olivia growing up without me. I avoided the grocery store near their house. I stayed quiet when people asked about them at church. I just said, "They're busy." The truth was, I was grieving. Every birthday that passed with no call. Every holiday I spent alone. Every time I looked at the baby blanket I'd crocheted for Olivia but never gave her. Then 2 Thursdays ago, everything changed. It was raining. I'd just come back from helping at the food pantry. I was soaked, muddy, and tired. My back was aching. Someone knocked hard on my door. 3 fast bangs. I opened it. And there they were. James, Haley, and Olivia, now a toddler, clinging to her mom's shoulder. They looked awful. Haley's eyes were red and puffy. James looked like he hadn't slept. They stood in the rain, clothes soaked. James said, "Can we come in?" I stepped aside without saying anything. They sat on the edge of my couch like kids in trouble. I stood. I didn't take off my coat. I didn't say hello to the baby. I didn't ask how they were. Haley was the first to talk. She said, "I know we hurt you." I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety. I thought I was protecting Olivia. But I shut people out. I shut you out. I'm sorry. James added, "I went along with it because I was scared. I didn't want to upset her. But I should have protected you, too." They both looked up at me. James said, "We need help. We're getting evicted." Haley said, "We thought maybe we could stay here. Just for a few weeks." I didn't speak right away. I walked down the hallway and pulled a box from the hall closet. Inside were all the receipts from the past 10 years. The car loan. The baby gifts. The groceries. The birthday cards with cash. I put the box on the table. "This is everything I gave," I said. "Not because you asked, but because I love you." "And how did you thank me?" "You blocked me over 1 missed call. You cut me out like I was a stranger." Haley tried to say something, but I kept going. I went to bed crying for months. "You let her block me, James. You told me to respect her boundaries. What about my pain? What about my boundaries?" They sat there, silent. Then I said the words they didn't expect. No, James's face dropped. Haley gasped. "I'm not taking you in," I said. "You made your choice. You told me to stay away. You wanted boundaries. Now live with them." James said, "Mom, please." I just shook my head. "You walked away when I needed you. Now you want to come back because you're in trouble. That's not love. That's convenience." I opened the front door. "You can leave now. I hope you figure things out. For Olivia's sake. But I'm done." They left. I stood at that door until their car drove away. A few days later, I got a card in the mail. Plain envelope. No return address. Inside it said, "We understand. You were right. We're sorry. Thank you for everything." No signature. I read it once. Then again. And I cried. But not for them. I cried for myself. Because after all the pain, I finally chose me. After they left, I didn't feel peace. Not right away. I wish I could say I felt strong or proud of myself. But the truth is, I spent that night pacing the kitchen floor, turning the card over in my hands, asking myself if I had gone too far. I kept thinking about Olivia, how she looked at me that day like she had no idea who I was. That broke me. I kept telling myself I did the right thing. That I deserved respect. But part of me still missed them. Then, 2 weeks later, something strange happened. I was walking out of the grocery store when I saw James. He was sitting in his car in the parking lot. Alone. No Haley. He looked thinner. Pale. His face was sunken like he hadn't eaten right in days. I hesitated. He saw me, and for a moment, he just stared. Then he got out. He walked toward me, slow, like he wasn't sure if I'd run or yell. "Mom," he said. "Can we talk?" I looked around. It was raining again. Cold drizzle. I nodded. We sat in my car. He looked down at his hands. He wouldn't look at me. We're not together anymore, he said. I blinked. You and Haley? He nodded. She left. Took Olivia. Moved back in with her parents in Iowa. Said I was weak for coming to you. Said I should have fought harder for her boundaries. I sat there, stunned. James added, I let her push away everyone who loved me. And now I'm alone. I lost my job. I can't afford the apartment. My car's next. I didn't say anything. I wanted to feel bad for him, but part of me was still angry. I know I don't deserve it, he said. But I need a place to stay. Just a few nights. I won't ask again. I stared at the steering wheel. I thought about all the nights I cried because of him. All the birthdays, all the holidays, all the silence. But I also thought about the boy I raised. The one who used to bring me wildflowers from the schoolyard. The one who protected kids from bullies and stayed up late studying so I'd be proud. I said, just you. No promises. And only for a few days. He nodded. Thank you. James moved into the guest room that night. He didn't bring much, just a trash bag with clothes and an old backpack. He was quiet. Respectful. He cooked dinner, washed dishes, even swept the porch. Like he was afraid to do anything wrong. I thought maybe things were turning around. Then one evening, I came home from the church pantry and found him on the phone in the backyard. He didn't see me. He was pacing, tense. I stood inside and cracked the window just enough to hear. No, I'm not asking her for more money, he said. I'm already here. I just need to stay long enough to get the job. After that, yeah, maybe. Then silence. Then, she still doesn't know about the loan. My stomach dropped. Loan? I stepped outside and said, who were you talking to? He froze. Nobody, he said. I crossed my arms. What loan? He hesitated, then rubbed his face and said, it's nothing. Just something I took out before we got evicted. But I saw the look in his eyes. He was lying. I went to my desk that night and checked my credit report. Just in case. There it was. A loan in my name. $5,000. Opened 6 months ago. Delinquent. I felt like someone punched me in the chest. The next morning, I confronted him. He didn't deny it. He just stared at the floor. I didn't think you'd notice, he said. I just needed help, and I thought, you wouldn't miss it. I stared at him. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You stole from me, I said. I didn't steal. I was gonna pay it back, he mumbled. I pointed to the door. Get out. He begged. Said he had nowhere to go. Said he made a mistake. Said Haley left him and Olivia wouldn't remember him and he had nothing left. But I didn't move. I didn't yell. I just said, you lied. Again. And this time you took my name with you. I called the police after he left. Filed a report. I'm pressing charges. I never thought it would come to this. But sometimes, you have to burn the bridge so you stop walking back. It's been 3 weeks since I pressed charges against James. I haven't heard from him. Not a text. Not a call. Nothing. I thought I'd feel relief. But instead, I wake up with a knot in my chest. Every morning I check the mail half expecting some dramatic letter, some apology, or maybe something worse. The guilt creeps in at night, whispering that maybe I should have just let it go. But then I remember the loan. I remember seeing my name attached to debt I didn't take on. I remember the look in his eyes when I caught him lying, and how easily he did it. One day, I got a letter from the credit union. It said the loan had gone into collections. My credit score dropped by 130 points. And just like that, the plans I had to refinance my mortgage disappeared. All because of my son. I went to church the following Sunday, and after the service, Pastor Don called me aside. He said James had reached out. He didn't tell me right away, he wanted to see if James was serious. Apparently, James showed up at the church looking rough. Said he was homeless. Sleeping in his car. Said he had nowhere else to turn. Pastor Don looked at me gently and asked, "Would you consider sitting down with him? Maybe with me there, just to talk?" I told him I'd think about it. That night, I couldn't sleep. So I went for a drive. I passed by the lot near the old Walmart. That's when I saw it. James's beat-up Corolla parked off to the side, windows fogged up. The back seat full of junk. I pulled into a nearby spot and just watched for a while. I could see his shape in the front seat, slumped over. I don't know if he was asleep or just hiding. I didn't get out. I just watched. That was my son. My baby. A grown man now, but still the boy I raised. And he was in that car. Alone. Cold. I went home and cried for hours. A week later, I got a call from a woman I didn't recognize. Her name was Diane. She said she was Haley's mother. She didn't waste time. "I know you and Haley don't talk, but I wanted you to know what's going on. Olivia was taken to the ER last night with a bad asthma attack. Haley wasn't answering my calls, so I went over. She was passed out. Drunk. Empty wine bottles everywhere." I gripped the phone so tight my knuckles turned white. "I have temporary custody now," Diane said. "But I can't keep her for long. I'm in assisted living." I thought maybe. "Since you're her grandmother," I didn't answer right away. My mind was racing. Haley always acted so perfect. So in control. But now her house was full of bottles and her baby was sick and scared. And James? He was sleeping in a car. I asked Diane, "Does James know?" "No," she said. "I don't think Haley's told him. I don't know where he is." I told her, "I do." The next morning, I went back to that Walmart lot. The car was still there. I knocked on the window. It took a second, but then he sat up. Hair a mess. Face hollow. When he saw it was me, his face crumbled. I opened the door and said, "Get in my car. We need to talk." We drove in silence to the diner near my house. We sat in a booth. I told him everything. About Haley. About Olivia. About Diane. About the hospital. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he whispered, "Is she okay?" I said, "For now. But this is your chance to step up." He looked ashamed. Broken. "I don't have a lawyer. I don't have money. I don't even have clean clothes," he said. I stared at him. "You also don't have my trust. But Olivia's in danger. You're her father. You don't get to disappear." He nodded slowly. "I want to fix it. I just don't know how." I slid a piece of paper across the table. It had the number of a lawyer I knew from church. The same one helping with the fraud charges. "You'll turn yourself in," I said. "You'll own what you did. You'll make a plan to pay back what you stole. And maybe, just maybe, you'll earn the right to be Olivia's father again." He didn't argue. He just nodded. We left the diner that morning in silence. The sun was coming up over the parking lot, and James was wiping his face over and over like he couldn't believe any of this was real. I could hardly believe it either. The next day, he turned himself in. He walked into the police station, confessed to opening that loan in my name without my permission, and accepted whatever was coming. The officer I spoke with later told me he didn't make excuses. He said, "I stole from my mother. I want to make it right. The charges were reduced to probation and restitution, partly because I asked them not to send him to jail. I told the DA I wanted him free to fight for his daughter. But I also told James, no second chances if he ever lied again. He agreed. Over the next few weeks, James started showing up differently. He got a part-time job at a scrapyard. Saved what little he could. I made it clear I wouldn't be giving him cash, but I let him come by for dinners. I let him use my washer. I let him be around me again, but not close. Not yet. Haley didn't show up to the emergency custody hearing. Her own mother had to testify about the drinking, the neglect. Diane had tried to help, but Haley screamed at her, said she was stealing her child. When the judge granted temporary custody to James, Haley didn't even call to ask where Olivia was. James got a one-bedroom apartment through a housing program Pastor Don helped him apply for. I went with him the day he moved in. It was small, cracked blinds, old tile, but clean. Livable. He had Olivia's crib in the corner of the bedroom, and a second-hand couch someone donated. The first night Olivia slept there, I sat in my car outside his building for a long time, watching the lights through the window. He was reading to her. Good night, Moon. I could see her little hands reaching for the book. I cried harder that night than I had all year. 2 months later, Haley finally called James. She wanted Olivia back. Said she was better now, but James had heard enough empty promises to know better. So he told her no. That if she wanted custody, she'd need to go through the courts. She didn't take it well. She showed up at his job, screamed at him in front of his coworkers, said he kidnapped her daughter. He didn't yell back. He called his supervisor, clocked out, and went straight to the courthouse to file a restraining order. The judge granted it. Haley violated it 2 weeks later by showing up at Olivia's daycare. That was the final straw. When the court date came, Haley didn't even show. Her own mother testified against her. So did a neighbor who'd seen Olivia left alone in the yard multiple times. A social worker read notes from the hospital. James was granted full legal and physical custody. He cried in court. Not loud, just a slow, shaking kind of cry that made the whole room go still. And I sat in the back, hands folded, and whispered one word, finally. The following months were a slow rebuild. James paid me back $100 at a time. I didn't ask. He insisted. He got promoted at the scrapyard. He started bringing Olivia to my house for Sunday dinners. He even gave me a framed photo of her holding a sign that said, "Thank you, Grandma Patty, for loving my daddy when he forgot how." That photo sits on my mantle now. I didn't forgive overnight. It came in pieces. One night, we sat on my porch watching Olivia chase fireflies, and James said, "I don't think I would have survived without you." I said, "You almost didn't." He nodded. I know. And I hate the person I was. But I'm trying. And you know what? He was. But life has a way of circling back. 1 year to the day after James turned himself in, I got a call from a private number. It was Haley. She sounded wrecked. I barely recognized her voice. "Patty," she said, "I don't expect anything from you. But I need to tell you something." I didn't respond. She took a breath and said, "I'm in rehab. In Tulsa. I lost everything. My job. My apartment. My parents don't talk to me. I'm 6 months sober now, and I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I had to call." I stayed quiet. Let her talk. "I hated you," she said. "Not because of anything you did. But because you were steady. You were everything I couldn't be. And instead of trying to be better, I tried to push you out." She paused, then said the last part like it physically hurt her. "Thank you for saving my daughter." I hung up without saying a word. That was the last I heard from her. 2 weeks ago, James made his final payment to me. He brought it in cash, with a little folded note. It said, "You didn't give up on me, even when I gave up on myself. You were right to shut the door. Thank you for opening it again, but on your terms." I won't forget that. Neither will I. Now, every Friday, James brings Olivia over and we bake together. She calls me Grammy Pat. She loves the smell of cinnamon and thinks my porch swing is magic. I tell her stories about when her daddy was little. She laughs and says, "No way." And I look at my son, this tired, grown man who almost lost it all, and I see something I never thought I'd get back: hope. The revenge wasn't loud. It wasn't a slap or a scream. It was silence. It was choosing myself. It was letting the ones who hurt me fall and earn their way back. And when they did, I didn't forget. I remembered everything. But I also remembered who I was. Not just a mother. Not just a grandmother. But a woman who deserved more. And finally, got it.